So I'm very pleased to be here again. I talked yesterday on artificial intelligence. Some of you were there. And today I'm pleased to welcome Jean-Francois Gagne. I guess that's part of the reason why I'm here. We are both French-speaking. He's from Canada. And he has set up a company, Element AI. And I would like all of us to learn more about his company, of Jean-Francois, and then have a conversation. So Jean-Francois.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So we just prepped 3 slides here, but before I do that, I'm a 17 years entrepreneur in the field of artificial intelligence, and Element AI is my 3rd company. I started in 2000 and exited the first one in 2007 to start the second, exited in 2012, and worked for a large organization that bought our second company. And the founders came together in 2015 to think about what's next in artificial intelligence and what could we do with the great pool of talent that we have in Montreal. So we ran on a journey and started to travel the world by our own, trying to validate the opportunity that we see for enterprises to use the cutting-edge technology that was developed in university and apply it to traditional companies. I mean traditional by financial services, manufacturing, logistics, and supply chain. And so we prepped and validated the interest, which was pretty good. And we set up the business and launched in October last year on the 24th, so we're just a year old. And if I can get to the next slide. Can you just shift to the next slide, please? Thank you. We launched the business, and in a matter of a few days, we ended up on front page of Wired. Of course, the fact that my co-founders, Joshua Bengio, helped quite a bit of getting some recognition. But we started to receive organically a ton of attention by world press, but also unprecedented level of inbound. On the talent front, which is a huge constraint for a lot of organizations in our space, and from the customer side. And that led us to grow very quickly. We threw out of the window our plan, which we were funding ourselves and planning to go for 18 months, slow growth and being careful and doing MVP and all that stuff. And we realized the kind of growth that we were facing and the kind of level of interest, and decided to go hyper growth. Made an acquisition, accelerate the execution of projects, started to onboard all the people we knew, and that led to a Series A in last June of $102 million US. Since then, we've been growing steadily, traveling the world. We're about to open offices in Asia and next year in Europe. So with that, I'll sit and we can chat a little bit more about that.
Yeah, please. And we'll do it in English, not French, right? Yeah, okay. So, well, the first thing, because this is very successful, but tell us what is specific. What is like your solution? How different it is from any other? So we better understand your specific product, right? On top of the talent you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the problem that big enterprises are facing is that the sophisticated technology that works at internet scale database don't necessarily apply when there's less data available. So I'm referring here to deep learning related approaches. So we've applied a lot of our science and know-how in building a platform that enables our algorithm to run on much smaller data sets. Okay. Therefore, we can use sophisticated techniques into much smaller data sets.
All right. So maybe without naming a client, can you be specific on an example so we really get it,
Yeah, absolutely. We can. I can talk about 2 of them who happen to be investors. So National Bank of Canada and Enwa Group in South Korea. So we're delivering for National Bank of Canada a next generation algo trading capability that look at high frequency market making strategies and really get them to the next level in terms of automating and making them very, very smart.
And using a lot of the impact that get to them. How do you value the impact?
So we can, the performance went up quite a bit. Okay. It's still in rolling out phase. Obviously, I can't disclose the exact numbers because in market making, if everybody do the same thing and then use the same technologies, there's zero-sum game.
All right, go to the second example then.
The other project that we're doing in manufacturing is actually leveraging IoT in manufacturing environment to improve the quality of the process of chemical plant for Hanwha Group. So that's another use cases where we've applied deep learning to quality monitoring and fine-tuning of a chemical process.
And without giving a specific number, but do you know the business case overall of those projects? Like, you know, what's the overall return on investment when you implement your solutions, average?
It varies a lot depending on the customer. They're quite sizable. The interesting thing is, as we're getting into that era of automation, we can leverage with the techniques we're using much dirtier data with less annotation, therefore more unsupervised learning, which reduce the cost and the time to deployment. Therefore, ROI is way greater than it used to be for a lot of these situations.
Right. Maybe a question is, what are the next steps? Is it about scaling to multiple clients? Do you plan to upgrade your platform? What are your top 2 to 3 next steps?
Yeah, so we've been building capabilities for enterprise in the core AI typical areas. You know, when it gets to image recognition, when it gets to natural language understanding, time series data sets understanding. And now, as we're moving forward, we're growing this platform into applications for each domain. So we're translating that advantage that we've created at the lower level into real-world applications that are quite disruptive for each of the market we're going after. So for insurance, financial services.
So you become specific by industry in your solution?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that's very interesting because that's usually the problem, you know, how to get a generic platform specific to an industry,
So
right?
we're going straight to market with this, and that's why we're getting so much traction. I think like expecting enterprise to build everything themselves is a pitfall. I mean, it feels a lot right now because of talent constraint and the lack of access to good solution, like the mainframe era. There was lack of talent, therefore a lot of banks invested a lot of money trying to do everything themselves.
Oh, you're touching that. So what is preventing you to grow? I mean, you did a great anniversary recently, right?
Yeah.
But what is preventing you to grow much more?
We're limited by our ability to get the level of talent that we need in quantity. So we're growing as fast as we can. We're now 200, we'll be 400 by the end of next year. And really, like our contracts and our deal is way beyond what we can deliver. So at this point, we're really looking at repeatability so we can scale, but the limitation, the big limitation is talent access.
Okay, I have maybe a last question where I know a bit of the answer is, you know, we partner with startups at Accenture, so have you looked at working with Accenture to deploy your solution or not?
There's a few projects we're actually looking to collaborate. But one thing that we do is that we provide the element of artificial intelligence to a lot of the current players out there. So, you know, we have collaboration with different consulting groups, and we're, you know, in order to reach scale very quickly and be impactful for Fortune 2000 organization, we need partner like Accenture to do that.
Okay, maybe a last word before what's your takeaway of the Web Summit and
so it's an amazing
conclusion
event.
from you?
I've been connecting with lots of very great people and happy to connect with all of you. If you want to chat, I'll be right next here. No, it's quite exciting. It's been a crazy year from 5 people to 200.
That's amazing in a year, right?
And in 12 months, been crazy.
So we will follow on the conversation in French in backstage to discuss about how to collaborate together immediately, right?
Pleasure.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.